back. Hope you're having a good day. I think it's coming up on probably 3 or 4 years now. I took this little cutting. This is a Ficus Microcarpa. Put it in this little pot. I had just actually bought this pot, and I had just discovered that technique I was using to take large cuttings like this, and that would be basically I had pruned whatever tree this came off of, and then as soon as it starts budding out, the plant is actively shooting out roots. And so I take the cutting with a saw and put it in some decent soil and just kind of place it someplace where it doesn't move at all. And I've had pretty good luck with it, pretty good luck with even big cuttings like this. It took off right away, and basically as soon as it took off, I started kind of pruning it and starting to work it a little bit too hard. And I think I kind of skipped an opportunity that I would have had to have a much better tree, in that I should have just let it recover for a little while before I did that. And then I kind of put it in a mode where I was just going to let it recover for a bit, let it grow out. Got beat around by some storms here and there and everything, and I would like to go ahead and repot it within the next few weeks. And the same theory would go for repotting ficus that I have for taking that the cutting, in that if I go ahead and prune it hard now, I can allow it to start leafing out just a little, and then just like within 2-3 days of me seeing it leafing out, I can aggressively repot it, and because it's actively leafing out, it should shoot some roots out of it, no problem and everything. I do like the spot I had picked out for it to begin with, so I'll probably just leave it right in here. Again, just a normal repot here. Although I do want, once I get all the leaves off, and actually when I get to the repotting video, I'll show you even more, but I'll show you right now when the leaves are off. First thing I am going to do is take this out so it sits straight. Had to cut this off to get it in here. See if we can get a little closer. Alright, and as I've been looking at it, I was thinking whether or not I was going to cut it back hard and get some wire on it. I've decided I'm just going to cut it back a little. Some of these have gotten super leggy, and sometimes I let them grow out like that, so I do have something to wire, but I don't think I want it quite that leggy, so I think I'm going to cut it back a little harder than I normally would if I was going to put wire on it. And then after the repot, that'll also enable me just to kind of let it grow for a while and let it recover from there too. And we'll come back and get ready to work on this guy very soon. Alright, so that was April 27th. Today is May 18th, and it is budding out. I'm going to go ahead and do the repotting. Just for right now, while I got it in here real close up, just thought I'd take a really nice look at it. Still pretty awesome the way it is right now, but I do want to fix the angle of the pot. Again, that algae on this side, and just how kind of got twisted around in the storms a couple years ago. And see if we can't straighten this guy a little bit better. Alright, let's get in here and see what we got. And I am going to try to save most of the soil here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. And you'll be able to see, you can see that root that was coming out. I probably cut that off in the first part of the video. I don't really remember at this point. You can see how it was already getting some white roots coming out of where I cut it off before. And then you can see this thin layer of roots and kind of almost dust-ish type dirt. And then all of that kind of growing around the screen that I had in there to cover up that drain hole. And that's just from where it got disturbed in one of the storms, and it pulled it way up. And I think I just grabbed a handful of any kind of soil I could have and just kind of replaced it as best as I could. No, I won't. Keeping that. be keeping that either. Alright, I think I got my camera at a bit of a bad angle here, but I am going to go ahead and take this guy out and blast it off with the hose and see what we got. The whole idea of waiting until it was budding out here is so I could get really aggressive with it, so I do plan on getting pretty aggressive with it. And blast off some of this dirt and see what the actual stump looks like once I get it cleaned off a little bit better. Try to get the camera at a better angle too. Of course, a lot of that is actually because I had that in there. Sometimes I can be pretty dumb. But that's where we're at now. Now, this is the biggest root. It was probably the one that was the most visible when I had it still in the pot there and everything. And you can see here where it kind of took the turn under. So I am just going to take that off right there. This one, the turn isn't too bad, but at the same time, since I'm trying to be pretty aggressive with it here, I am going to go ahead and clip that off there. And then pretty much the same over here. And doesn't leave a whole lot of little fine roots in there. But like I said, with this thing pushing growth, and with my climate and everything, I don't think I'll have any problem at all with this guy. And we're going to find out for sure. I'm going to go ahead and get set up to get it in the pot. Alright, and when I brought it back in from hosing it off, I kind of forgot to mention that when I hosed it off, I took my thumb and just kind of hosed off all that algae that was on that side. You can see the little white nose there. If you were to bury the tree up to there, it would actually get roots from there. Of course, I don't want roots up that high. But part of the, you got the two bigger roots coming off this side, and then this was the side that was kind of showing a little bit. This was the side that was kind of covered in algae. I'm being a little, over dramatic from how it was tilted, but that was the, this is the side that had showing roots, and then this is the side that was buried. I do want to try to keep the angle a little bit better on it, and I always thought maybe this branch here was coming down a little bit too much. And since I was really aggressive with it, and it's got plenty of growth elsewhere, I'm going to pop that guy off there. And then when I also look here, this little thinner side here, this branch is kind of growing over into it. And then this one is just kind of awkward. And so what I'm going to do is just take that one off. And then as I try to angle it in the pot a little bit better, I think it'll look a little more tree-ish than just like, me saving as much growth as I can on it and everything. So I do think that already even looks a little bit better. So I'm going to try to get the angle right there. And right now I've got an awkward side facing you guys, but it's in a round pot, so a front really doesn't really matter all that much. I just need to kind of get it set in here. Alright, and there we are, all straightened up. Keep this guy away from wildlife for a couple weeks, and then just come back in and check on it. Should be looking good. Alright, and here we are 2 weeks from the repot, so 5 weeks since the beginning of the video. I think it's turning out pretty well. And even though it is just recovering from repot, is a pretty impressive leaf production on there and everything, but gonna let it go ahead and grow out for the rest of the summer. See what happens.